Every brand tells a story, and they are the storytellers, the Sutradhars. They present a brand with band, baja and barat to you. They are the Brandwallahs. On this special edition of the Brandwallahs, we get you the best of the best. This is the best of Brandwallahs from the auto sector. From power-packed engines to customer-driven innovation, the auto sector is in top gear, and behind every bold campaign is a visionary marketer. And we drive into the minds of those who are driving marketing for some of the biggest brands in India's auto sector. These Brandwallahs don't just sell vehicles, they engineer desire, trust, and futuristic experiences. From rural roads to urban dreams, from dealerships to digital touchpoints, they are navigators of change, architects of desire, and custodians of legacy. In candid conversations, these marketing leaders open up about the campaigns that work, how AI is reshaping marketing, and the road ahead. They also tell us what they love about their jobs and what they don't. It's not just about horsepower anymore. It's about brand power, purpose, and perception.
I think the digital marketing is a thing which is really now coming up very fast.
Artificial intelligence is going to speed up on both creativity on the origin end and also on the deployment end.
Just by making it look cooler with the use of AI doesn't solve the problem.
I believe a marketer should not take anything as blanc very early.
You're watching the Brandwallahs. I'm Krishna Kumar, and I'm here with Mr. Santosh Iyer, CEO of Mercedes India. Thank you so much for taking time out to speak to us, Santosh. Always a pleasure talking to you. And Mercedes is launching its much-awaited G-Class all-electric variant. Talk to us about Mercedes' electric plans for India.
So, we were always committed to electrification, and we also have a very clear goal on decarbonizing the automotive industry in general. So for us, it's not an option. We started bringing in CBUs, then we were the first to localize an electric in India with an EQS sedan, then we localized an EQS SUV, and with this our engineers proved, yes, even the G can be electrified, more iconic. The G-turn has become another symbol. The four motors are independent and you are able to get the car rotate on 720 degrees. I think that's only possible in an electric motor drive powertrain. So I think we have demonstrated that you can have a decarbonized future in electrification, and the G580 with EQ technology is a very clear example of we have achieved across all car line. This car we sold out the moment we announced all the cars for India. This is 3 crores plus. So that just shows that, one of the biggest things is these cars will be driven by Bollywood cricketers, so this helps in EV adoption, because then the mass market also will go, wow, Mercedes-Benz EVs are driven by A or B, and now even I should get into an EV.
Talk to us about, what are your plans? Talk to us about the e-Vitara, and more importantly, what else can we expect in the EV space from Maruti in the months and years to come?
Krishna, this e-Vitara is going to rock the market. Look at the styling part of it. It basically targeted at the young Indian aspiring customers, the beast in it. But if you sit inside the vehicle, actually, you are in your private jet.
The early adopters are guys who value I would say sustainability at the core. Last year, same time, it was why EV, as you said. But now, with so many EVs in Auto Expo, all mass market OEMs buying, now it's about which EV. I think that narrative is changing, and that's great.
What, according to you, is the big buzz? It could be a new campaign or marketing initiative that you saw. It could be an advertisement or a trend that you think is buzzing in the world of marketing.
I think that digital marketing is the thing which is really now coming up very fast. I am seeing the trend. Earlier, the conventional media was the one which was there, but now this transitioning is happening very fast. The point of inflection has crossed actually, and the digital marketing is going to take up. The roles of the influencers, they all are going to play a very major role.
But you know, a lot of tools have changed. Digital at some point of time, it's all hygiene today. I think the tools are available to everyone in the industry. The way you use the tool and way you execute it is what will differentiate. So I am more of still a believer in doing the fundamentals, and the fancy things are great, good for for the young marketers to tell their bosses, I did this, I did that. But I think the core is does the customer see it finally?
Artificial intelligence is going to speed up on both creativity on the origin end and also on the deployment end. You got to have great liquid, you got to have great pipes, right? So you're able to create content much faster and personalize it for Krishna or Subhranshu much faster. So that AI personalization is here to stay. The second big thing is people want to talk, listen, and communicate with people like them. They are not engaging advertisers as much as they're engaging other people. My son doesn't order pizza from a new place till he checks out the ratings.
What we are very strongly working on is, you should have a connected ecosystem when you launch any campaign with the relevant QR codes or scannable ads or clear CTAs, where you take the consumer from viewing your advertisement on the medium to the journey you want the consumer to take. You want him to land on the website, you want him to land on a virtual showroom, you want him to land on the call center or go to the dealership. But I think through QRs, through scannable ads, through click-throughs, through very easy, seamless journeys online or offline is something that is very critical, because A, it's not easy to find the consumer. It's not easy to find a hot consumer for your cars. If you find one, don't lose them in the myriad of your digital ecosystem.
And one thing that, according to you, in the world of branding and marketing is overhyped, and hence, according to you, is blah.
Well, the usage of the word AI here takes, I really get, everybody's talking about it. I'm doing this. We use AI to find the customer, to do some digital marketing, and it uses AI to now see, come on, these things existed some time back. Just by making it look cooler with the use of AI doesn't solve the problem.
The problem is this, that very difficult to make it out in the reviews which are coming, how authentic they are. So I think there is, both the sides of the coins are there actually. We need to very clearly understand that whatever reviews we are seeing in the social media and other thing, how authentic they are, we don't know. But at the same time, the credibility of the third party is more than the OEMs actually.
AI-driven content is also a bit blah, because at the end of the day, the primacies of the idea of human creativity, and AI is a speed tool. AI is great epiphany, but it may or may not be great content. So the synthetic nature of content is easy to tell. And that's why it will be a big market, but it will not be the best of the best market yet.
Some years back, there was a big momentum that was generated by the metaverse. We also kind of dabbled into it, and there was expected to be an alternate digital universe that was getting set up, but boom, it did not work, and companies moved on from it. But conceptually speaking, Krishna, I believe a marketer should not take anything as blah very early.
What is the one iconic advertisement or a brand campaign or a marketing campaign that really stuck with you and that sort of inspires you even today?
I think the Maruti campaign about one is the service station. done by Gulu Sen, if I'm not wrong, at that point of time, where even in Ladakh they find a service station for this car, and the other is Kitna Deti hai, for example, also the mileage crunching. I think they got the consumer insight and the ability to get that narrative into a very simple communication format. I think that says a lot about the organization's understanding of the consumer and the way they did the narrative with the agency.
Some categories are attuned to creating drama. Confectionaries and stuff like that. But some categories like cars, it'll have to be a little bit more intelligent, a little bit more product showcase, technology showcase. So we tend to do that kind of work. But something that always impresses me is how in 6 seconds or 10 seconds, you have to inform the consumer that a great product or a great car has been launched by Hyundai. I think that is the challenge today that I'm really trying to solve. It's a mixture of creativity, but it's also a mixture of media buy, format, ratio, frequency, etc., etc. So the world has completely changed in the last 10 years.
Any car ads that you really love?
I am very proud of, to be very honest, the Creta campaign we did in January last year, where we onboarded Deepika Padukone as our brand ambassador, a global icon, along with Shah Rukh Khan, where we got Siddharth Anand and we kind of created an action sequence on the product. We also did a lot of tie-up with Bollywood influencers on Instagram and stuff like that. We kind of created a hype to launch a movie, and in 15 days we really created quite a buzz on the Creta Creta facelift that was getting launched in January of last year at 24.
And another one which strikes me is the petrol khatam nahi honda ad actually. Without depicting anything, a dinky car, you could manage to convey the message so effectively to your consumer. That's the power of a good campaign.
1984, Apple's ad 1984, which Ridley Scott directed, is a fabulous one in a time. It changed the way Super Bowl advertising happened. It was referring to Orwell's dystopian 1984, where everybody's become an automaton and then there is an act of rebellion, and it really established the Macintosh and therefore the Apple as a rebellion brand. I think it's an iconic piece of advertising. But I like several others, At one time, Benetton's Shockvertising, United Colors of Benetton, was a fabulous expression of the visual impact that simple images can have. Campaign for Real Beauty from Dove is another great campaign. Surf Excel's Dirt is Good campaign was great.
Daag Achhe Hain.
Daag Achhe Hain. And I had the privilege to work at Star when we did the Mauka campaign, which became, it really teased people. There was an element of Schadenfreude and, how you perk the interest of the other fan community, but it was done in a very playful, lovable manner, and so it has remained relevant, and many mutations of it have happened thereafter. So it's about the power of the idea and how you do the storytelling that makes a campaign great.
The auto space, which always traditionally relied upon the traditional forms of media, it is increasingly moving towards social media marketing, and in fact beginning with social media and going to other traditional forms of media. What exactly is your social media strategy, so to speak?
Well, firstly, let's look at the demographics. India is the most populous nation on the planet. It is also the youngest nation on the planet. 400 million Indians, 40 crore Indians are less than 20 years of age. And they are digital natives. They were born in a digital era. And so therefore, recognizing that reality, the media mix also has to evolve, which is not to say that traditional above-the-line media, linear TV is very large, and there's nothing like linear TV in creating reach and concurrency. However, there are people who are looking at print for newsy reasons, for impact-related reasons. There are outdoors. Outdoors is a very big medium for us because our customer traffic is on the roads. And so therefore, outdoor becomes a very big medium. But coming to digital specifically, digital with smart identification, because we are living in an algorithmic era. When you open your Gmail in the morning, the way the mails are sorted, the feed that comes to you from Twitter, how Spotify arranges your song list, or how Netflix gives you thumbnails. This is all algorithmically driven, knowing who Krishna is and who the millions of other people like Krishna are. And so it's massively crowdsourced but hyper-personalized. That beauty of statistical crowdsourcing combined and married to hyper-personalization and served to you constantly. That is the beauty of the digital envelope, which nobody else can rival today.
No, firstly, there are guide rails very clearly because we need to be authentic. We have to be very careful on social media as well because as a brand which is very valuable, trusted, desirable, generally there's always an attack on the brand as well. So anything not in the right tonality, voice, also the entire space needs to be really. So there's a lot of attention to what we can post, what we can say. We have to be sensitive on these topics. But I think today it's more content. And we need to look at more natural content and then if something is working, we start putting a bit more money behind it.
We want to take out snackable content with a meaning to deliver an ROI. We have more than 50 million fans and followers across our social media, one of the biggest auto communities in India. We have content going out on both sides. One is content going out to generate more and more prospects. The second is content going out to generate advocacy, loyalty and fandom for my current owners and consumers. So the first part is getting people down in the funnel. The second part is how do I generate love and how do I generate an augmented product experience for my current owners. They're actually buying mobility. So, mobility can have experiences, memories, sharing moments together.
This new model, e-Vitara, we are totally launching on the digital media, not on the traditional media. So that will tell you that in Maruti marketing, we are not totally changing. We are more and more going for the digital media, social media, starting from the hyper-local, starting from the influencers. We have totally made a roadmap. Working with Google, with Meta, mastheads we are taking. So we feel that is the right way to go.
There's lots of talk now about the India consumption story. India consumption story is very important. The key factor driving economic growth in India, the fact that Indians are going out there consuming everything from cars to movies to other things. Consumption story is the fulcrum of India's growth. But now there is talk of how there are cracks emerging in India's consumption story. Lots of talk about how car sales are not what they used to be, say, 3 years ago. The kind of boom they witnessed post-pandemic. Where do you stand on this matter? What is your take on the India consumption story? Is it weakening or is it as good as it was before?
No, look, in the commercial vehicles business, we are organically linked to the underlying rate of growth in the GDP. We see fantastic growths across the board. In fact, the entire small commercial vehicles business is about within the city deliveries or short distance deliveries. That's directly linked to consumption. We are very, very optimistic about the growth in consumption. At the upper end of our portfolio, there's a lot of sale that goes into core sectors, infrastructure, road building, mining, etc. We are very optimistic. I am personally seeing whatever I can in terms of consumer trends, sentiment surveys, etc. There is great buoyancy. We must also remember that, the iteration that happens in a consumer's life is also about cross-category dynamics. Today, if I'm looking to buy a computer for my son, I'm also thinking, should I replace my geyser or should I plan for a holiday abroad? So it's a share of the wallet that you're also competing for, just as much as you're competing for share of the mind. And when consumers have more things to spend on, naturally they will make rational choices and prioritize. I think India is the world's largest economy, growing at the fastest rate. As in, amongst the largest economies, we are the fastest growing economy. We are already crossed 3 trillion. We are number 3 economy. In number 5 economy, heading to a number 3 economy globally. And let's not forget purchasing power parity. So I think the future is exceedingly bright.
Okay, so no doubts on the India consumption story.
Firstly, automotive as a category is a sentiment-driven purchase. A luxury more, but in general also, because there is a tendency to postpone purchases in automotive. On the other side, we also have seen that there was inflation, there was a bit of lesser capital expenditure, and I think this is the table is again turning, the corner is changing. We can see for Mercedes-Benz, we had the best ever year. Last year, we grew at 12% plus. The second half of the year, where the entire automotive industry, as you said, was tepid, we grew at 16%. So I think if you have the right product, the right pricing strategy, the right customer target segment, the growth should continue. But we are again not going with a volume-driven growth, because that's dangerous. You have to see, because with top-end cars, then you do crazy things. So it's better that you be more focused on customer. I think if you see the penetration of cars, only 24 people driving out of 1,000 people having a car, compared to the 500 in Germany, etc. So I think there's a lot of runway left. It depends, of course, on the fundamental core economic growth and sentiments both. It's a sentiment-driven economy, and as the sentiments come back with the geopolitics and also with what the government is trying to do, I think the consumption story will continue.
So let me ask you this, Partho, what is the one thing that is the most favorite thing about your job, that you just love about your job?
I love creating brands. I was instrumental in the Nexa, so I've been in marketing for last 35 years. One thing is this, to understand the new trends and start working on it. That is something which excites me.
So that means that like every time you create a new brand, that gives you the biggest high, correct?
Sir.
I am a storyteller. I tell stories about brands, and I get people to be interested in brands. It's a commercial job, because you want them to prefer your brand, grow market share profitably, boost sales.
Whether you're doing commercial vehicles or not, the job is commercial.
I've done financial services, I've done Alcobev, I've done sports broadcasting, I have done motorcycles, commercial vehicles, and for many, many years, fast-moving consumer goods. But the plot remains the same. It's about understanding consumers, having relevant insights, telling stories around that insight, and that's the job, the creativity of it. Looking at a script, looking at a storyboard, imagining a visual, and then allowing it to live and breathe 360 degree, that excites me as much today as when I first walked in 1999 May into Hindustan Lever.
Okay. Again, the opposite of it all.
I love the creative side of advertising. I love coming to work every day. I want, and I make it able that my team also loves coming to work every day. To find the way to attract, to make the consumer happy and convert the consumer to buy a 20 lakh rupee product is exciting, it is daunting, it is challenging at the same time. And it is at Hyundai, a bunch of 20-30 people who have to do it on a daily basis, with competition evolving on an everyday as we speak. But I think that is the challenge of the job. How will we be creative? How will we get the 30 seconds? How will I see a new trend coming yesterday on Instagram, and how will I go live on it in 2 days? Is something that is really, really exciting about my job.
And if I were to ask you the one thing that you absolutely hate about your job, the one thing that you don't like about your job, but you still have to do it.
Attending meetings.
So are you somebody who prefers to cut down
On a
on...
lighter note, actually, I don't like attending too much meetings, actually. I prefer crisp meetings.
Okay, so, and you're not a big fan of multiple emails as well, I'm guessing. So emails and meetings don't really work for you.
I believe if somebody needs to do something, send me a quick message, I respond immediately. I'm very quick in responding.
Everybody thinks if I had half an hour more on the exam, I could have aced it, right? Deadlines are one such thing. Deadline is a great liberator of creative energy, but it also compresses it. Okay. So if you had more time, if you could just sit on a hammock, or sit in the rain and imagine possibilities. Unfortunately, work life doesn't happen like that. The other is the acknowledgement that creative must give to an Excel sheet, but very often it's not reciprocated. Excel sheet wallahs don't come to creative wallahs and say, hey, look at my Excel sheet and see whether you like it or not. But creative wallahs very often have to go to Excel sheet wallahs and say, look, my creative will deliver what your Excel sheet has on it. So I think it's that and the routineness of it, meetings and process and iterations. You want to land and get to the end creative faster.
Something that I am skeptical about is the intensity or the enormity of data that comes out of digital. I mean, reach, impressions, the millions that get churned out. I think one has to find the needle in that haystack. That is just, I would say, overwhelms, but one has to be very, very sharp on finding the ROI from the data stack coming out of any digital media campaign. I don't hate it. I mean, there's no point of hating it. It's what's churning out. But at one point of time, I think those things, you will have to find your own dashboards, your own metrics to measure. But the enormity of the kind of stuff that comes out of any digital campaign is as of now, a big gray area.